once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise.
Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. This evening, the saga continues. We have another episode of Corrupt to the Core, because police departments across the United States and throughout the world constantly give us content, constantly violate the rights of people with their perceived power. Sometimes, if you are totally law-abiding, they have this thing with them that they just want you to do something that they say. You could be at a traffic stop, or you can just be somewhere watching them do their job. They'll come over and tell you to go stand over here, or go stand over there, or you don't have to say anything to them. They'll come to you and escalate a situation. And I'm going to say, they absolutely earn the hate. They earn the hate that people have for them. That's why First Amendment auditors are out here and they make so much money because the police constantly give them content. And what I can't understand is, with cameras, years ago it used to be our word against theirs. Now they don't even make cell phones, I don't believe, without a camera. And they don't even care they have cameras on them, and they will break the law. Right in front of the camera, they'll break the law. They'll violate their people rights. While on camera, and don't even care. Some of these police officers, and I call them police officers just for the sake of argument, because most of them don't have the courage of a cockroach. Most of them. Now, some of them, when they don't want the job, they want to leave the job, they won't just go turn in their badge and gun and ID. They'll do something outlandish, like tase somebody for nothing. They'll shoot somebody or beat somebody or do something outlandish because they don't want the job anymore. And what's crazy about that is where do they find these numbskulls who they hire, half trained, and put them out on the street to deal with life and death situations. Salute, peace to my brother, Chief 18 Wills. Thanks for tapping in, good brother. People on the street know the law better than law enforcement. And what's crazy about that is when you're telling the police the law and you're telling them you have rights, they say, are you a lawyer? You don't have to be a lawyer to pick up a book and read, or read the amendments and read the rights that you have in your state or federal or nationwide. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand that you have rights. That's the stigma. People think that you have to be a lawyer to know your rights, and because you tell them what the law is and that they're violating your rights, they get bent out of shape because they don't even know the law themselves. Most law enforcement don't know the law. Most of them, they don't even know the law. And what's crazy about that, they're put out on the street not knowing the law. When they're being sworn in, it's not verbatim. They are repeating after someone. So they don't even know the law because they're repeating that to someone. Putting their hands on the Bible and repeating that to somebody to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And they go out here, and what they really want to do, while they really take the job, is that perceived power that they have. That perceived power to be able to tell someone to do something and expect them to do it. And if they don't do it, these wicked demons get violent as hell, but they claim they're the one who's scared and fear for their life with a belt full of weapons. Weapons all around their entire belt, but they're scared. And most of them are scared to death. Most of them are scared. And most of them are cowards. I remember a time growing up when the police rolled up on somebody and that person rocked them. If that police had fortitude, that police officer will rock with that dude. Throw their hands on the feet. That's how it was when I was growing up. Now, I don't know what kind of lack of fortitude, scared to death people they hiring today. Because you throw your hands up at them and you rock them, they're going straight to the holster. They're going straight to the holster. They're using deadly force because they can't fight and they're scared to fight. A lot of the police officers in my day growing up, in the city, the little small city I live in, I don't know what they have here now, but they had cops that will oblige you if you wanted to fight. They weren't punks who would just shoot somebody dead. Until probably like the 90s. Like in the 70s and the 80s, they'll run you down and effect their arrest. They'll run you down. Now, you run, either they're not going to chase you or they're going to shoot you. I'm going to do my video presentation of Corrupt to the Core, Part 11. And the saga definitely continues. we have quite a few videos today of how corrupt the police all across the United States are. And that's to the core. Now we're going to start with LAPD's hiring process is under fire. The department, they said they are accused of lowering standards, as if their standards was high in the first place. So if it got any lower, we can just imagine what type of incompetence they're hiring. It gets crazier as we go, as far as the incompetence that police departments are hiring all
A lot
across
of
the
the
United
people
States.
that are being hired right now should not be police officers.
LAPD officers and LA City personnel.
It's a danger. It's a direct danger to the public.
People directly involved in the LAPD recruiting and hiring process are going public for the first time with their concerns.
We're just letting the floodgates open to people that shouldn't be on the job.
Most of our sources asked us to protect their identities for fear of retaliation, but not James Williams. He supervised LAPD police backgrounds for 20 years. Williams retired a year ago.
I have nothing to gain from this, but it's the right thing to do.
Prosecute the police!
After the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis in 2020, followed by massive protests across the country and anti-police sentiment, Williams alleges the LAPD began making changes in its recruiting process.
We were given direction to focus more on diversity candidates, which we always have. Regardless of the candidate, the good ones always float to the top.
But he says if the top-tier candidates were not from a specific minority group,
They didn't want them, so they sat on the shelf.
I myself am a minority, and I completely believe in diversity in the department because that's what makes Los Angeles a great city. But we need to hire good, qualified candidates that can do it.
See, what they're going with this is, if you're not a candidate as a so-called minority, in particular white Hispanic minority, if you're not a candidate to be a part of the executioner's gang of police officers that they have in Los Angeles, they don't want to hire you. They don't want to hire somebody who's going to go on the job, do their job, and that's it, instead of clicking in the ranks and becoming a actual gang member employed by the people of Los Angeles.
Do the job.
They started manipulating the standards and the guidelines, which that was a major issue with me.
the hiring standards are created by POST, the Commission on Peace Officers Standards and Training. Candidates have to go through the peace officer selection process that includes a written exam, physical ability test, and background investigation. All law enforcement agencies in California must abide by those guidelines if they want certification for their academies and officers.
They wanted to go below those. Can't do that. It's illegal. We're governed by post standards. We're governed by government codes as well.
Williams claims it didn't matter to the department. He and other sources say the LAPD is making it too easy to be an officer because of a staffing crisis.
They're not waiting for the best possible candidate to come by. Almost feels like they don't have that time to do it. They want to meet the numbers now.
So what were the standards before compared to now?
So the physical fitness qualifier, you're supposed to have at least a 50% to get into the academy. We're now hiring people with 40, 30, and in some cases lower than 10% physical scores.
What they're doing is not helping. They're creating doubt in the public's mind.
Chief Michael Moore says the LAPD is not lowering the standards, but the hiring practices have evolved through the years.
When you're eliminating people to be a member of this organization because you can't run a mile and a half in 12 minutes, you got to ask yourself, when's the last time an officer ran a mile and a half? And understand it, is that still relevant?
Our sources say the
police is not going to run a mile and a half. They're not going to run at all. They're going to shoot you in the back if you run from them. So the standards have been lowered a long time. And not only that, as long as that joker can aim and center mass, whether it's the front of you or the back of you, that's all they care about. And not only that, if you're able to team up and jump someone who's not cooperative with a unlawful request or lawful request, if you're going to target a certain people, a certain ethnicity, if you're with that, you qualify. LAPD acts as if their standards for hiring was top notch in the first place. So I don't understand how low they can go.
The written exam is a lot easier because now it's a multiple choice test.
The written exam, we've had that test for years. And since I've gotten there, they've eased up on the standards of that written exam.
We moved to a multiple question test in place of a narrative because we saw that the narratives were judged subjectively. They were not consistent as far as people who passed or who didn't pass.
In the past, a background investigation revealing a candidate's bad credit or financial problems could have resulted in rejection. Not anymore. Williams, who used to be a cop.
Yes, you can't owe anybody. Your credit has to be good in order to become a police officer. I don't know if that's so today, yet we just keep watching. It gets worse.
For a different agency before becoming a background investigator and supervisor, says it's dangerous to hire people with money problems.
People that are in deep financial problems often are tempted by money. The temptations out there on patrol are vast. You may pull over a drug dealer with 100.
So what's the excuse any other time? What is the excuse any other time? Because the police are always tempted with money. And they're all, a lot of them, you see their salary. You know what their salary is? And if you see how they live, it's inconsistent with what they're being paid. So most of these cats are doing something crooked. Most of them.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you hire somebody without integrity, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to steal.
I do worry about officers who would fall prey to bribery. The reality is that, unfortunately, this profession and this own department in the past decades have had those individuals with what I guess those same critics would say a more stringent standard. Well, if it was such a stringent standard and it was so great, how did those failures occur?
Chief Moore strongly denies the allegations that recruiters are.
What's crazy about that, they just showed Christopher Dorner and put him in that category when Christopher Dorner was a brother police officer who was a whistleblower and was retaliated against because he attempted to blow the whistle. Yet they'll put him in that category. That's how corrupt to the core these demons are. Christopher Dorner, when he was working at LAPD, he saw that white police officers, white Hispanic police officers was harassing the brothers and sisters and abusing the brothers and sisters. And when he attempted to report it, he was retaliated against and eventually fired. That's why he went on the shooting spree. because the man fought for the country. The man thought he was doing the right thing, and they did him dirty. So he went on a shooting spree and started killing those who wronged him.
Are told to focus on specific minority candidates, even if they're not qualified.
We do not hire a person on the basis of their race or their gender, but at the same time, we are pursuing.
Why do these people continuously lie? Now, they may hire a brother. They may hire a brother. They may hire a sister. Peace to the brother Warfare K. Peace to Open to Knowledge. Salute to you. Now, but they hire a certain kind. They're not going to hire someone who have love for their people, knowing that they have love for their people. They're going to hire somebody who they feel they can use. And they'll rather have a self-hating Negro on the force than a brother or sister who have love for their people, and they're really to affect change as opposed to fitting in on the department.
Qualified applicants that are representative of the diversity of this city. That is fair. That is what I think the public wants and expects.
While both sides have shared opposite views on the department's hiring practices.
It's going to be devastating if you lower the standards any more than it is right now. And who's going to suffer from that? I think primarily the community.
Chief Moore assures the public the LAPD is not hiring unqualified candidates.
I believe the recruits that we see today are better educated, they're better qualified than the prior generations. And that at times.
These people just hired a man who was almost 50 years old when the cutoff is really supposed to be like 34, 35. They just hired somebody about a month or two ago, almost 50 years old, a white Hispanic. So for him to say he's hiring people who are qualified, unless that man came from a civil service job, transferring from a department. But if he's a new hire at that age, they violate the law.
Times it's hard for prior generations to appreciate or to acknowledge.
Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
And this, a spokesperson for LA Mayor Karen Bass has this to say tonight about the situation. There is no world in which Mayor Bass would ever support the lowering of standards for those who serve in LA.
They always find one of us to cop-splain. They always find one of us to foot shuffle and tap dance for them, because certain things, if they say it, they'll stir up something. So they'll find a willing participant, a willing Negro to participate in the demise of their own people. They'll find somebody who look like us to go and speak on their behalf.
PD. Throughout all city departments, there are infuriatingly unnecessary bureaucratic hurdles that prevent hiring for vital positions, including police officers, and the mayor has taken action to ensure that red tape does not hold LAPD back from keeping our city safe.
Now, I want to go to this full interview with Michael Washington.
First of all, just how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Just
Michael Washington is the brother who was tased by the cop while he was changing his tire. Again, some of these cops don't want the job. Some of these cops are real frustrated on that job, know they're not qualified for that job, and they just won't turn in their badge, their ID, and their gun. They'll do something outlandish. They say, you know what? In particular, it'd be against one of us. I might leave, I might lose my job, but I'm going to get one of them niggas before I go.
Yeah, I'm doing fine at the most. So.
And so, are you aware that this has gone national? This video?
Yes, man. Like I've been trying to actually just stay out social media because like I don't like seeing the video. Like it just do something to me. Like I just can't watch it. Like me personally. Like I can watch it, but like with the sound on, no, I can't do it.
So, take me.
I constantly say, value your life. Put your life before anybody's besides those who you are charged to look after. If it's not your loved one, put your life before that person. The only one I could see that I would, put my life aside for is my loved ones. Other than that, put your life before anybody's. Especially someone who's masquerading as a hero. The clowns, in the clown suits with the guns and badges on. Some of them are clowns. Put your life before theirs. If you know emphatically that they're going to pull it, meaning the nonsense, protect yourself. There's absolutely no one walking around here, or no thing walking around here that you should put your life aside for, especially when they're coming to do you harm. This man, though that was a woman, she was really aggressive towards him with that taser. He had every right to knock her head off her shoulders. The very first time she aggressed him violently. There's no way you're going to get that off if my hands are free. There's no way you're going to get that off if my hands are behind my back. If I could headbutt you and knock your ass out, you're going to sleep. Point blank. But be nobody's victim for no reason.
Take me back through what you remember. I mean, from what your attorney said, you were just simply out changing a tire near your home?
Yes, man. Like I was on near my aunt's. I was going to pick up my little brother. I always go get him like every other weekend or whatever. So, but I had a baby shower like the next day, so I told him I was gonna come get him. So when I finally made it down there, like Gordo area coming into a reform, my tire had a real bad blowout. So I was trying to call my aunt, but like I couldn't get in touch with her. So I tried to get the car closest I could to her. So once I got there, I parked and I walked to her house or whatever. I left the car, went and got some tools, told her that I needed a ride to go get a tire or whatever. So, and then me, my brother, and my co-defendant walked back to the car. So once we got back to the car, I was on the ground changing the tire when the police officer pulled up. So when she pulled up, she was basically like, what you guys doing? We told her we're changing the tire. She get out, she check out the tire or whatever. Then she she asked for our IDs. So me personally, I was like, if this not a traffic stop, so why you need an ID? So, but I still gave it to her trying to be in compliance. So I gave her my ID and I'm still asking the same question, like, what's the purpose of you needing IDs? So that's when she finally feels some type of way or whatever. So she told me to go stand on the back of the car and I was like, I'm not being detained, so I don't have to do anything. So like, so basically it's like so once I told her that or whatever, she said, well, now you are. She grabbed me. Like I put my hands up or whatever. So I was standing like between the back door and the driver door, and I was trying to grab my phone so I could.
That's an act of aggression. Once somebody escalate something and put their hands on me, I don't care who it is. You're not going to put your hands on me. Peace to my brother, Talk Your Talk Media, my good brother. greedy vegan. Once you put your hands on me, that's an act of aggression. And you are the one with the weapons. See, there was a big size difference. You know that you are smaller than I am. So if you think you can deal with this 255, 6'4", that's on you once it starts. I always say the only thing I can promise is that I won't start it. It's the only thing I can promise you, that I won't start it. But once you put your hands on me, you are mine until I'm done with you. And I would give you yourself back when my heart is content with dealing with you for putting your hands on me.
Turn my camera on and record her. So like once I finally got my camera on, then she tased me the first time, and she put her foot in my back on the ground.
So you fell down after being tased?
Yes, ma'am. I dropped
Face
my phone
down?
and stuff. Yes, ma'am. So she had me face down in the road first, like, so I put my hands behind my back so she could start tasing me or whatever. So once she finally gave me the handcuffs, she get me up off the ground. Well, before that, that's when I told my friend, like, go get my aunt. So he took off running, like when she first started.
This was also about intimidation and humiliation. She wanted to intimidate the brother and she wanted to humiliate him. And she called him all kinds of bitches while doing so. So she, as a woman, deserved no respect. And if he had ragdolled her on that street, she would have deserved it.
Me, and my brother still was standing there. So my brother video started like once she got me off the ground into handcuffs. So when she get me onto the car or whatever, I let her know like I got a gun on me, like so it won't go any farther than it did. So
okay, so let's stop there. You had a legally carried gun.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So once she found the gun, so she made a comment, oh yeah. I was like, what's the problem? Like basically like asked her why you saying that. She like she didn't want me to talk at all, basically. So when I asked her that, that's when she tased me again. So
see, automatically, it's an unwritten law. Whether we have a permit for our gun or not, we're not supposed to have it. You know, having a permit, I would say do it for the sake of argument, but I don't believe nobody supposed to permit me to have any damn thing. Especially when you have a constitution telling us that we have a right to bear arms. So if it's a right, why do you have to have a permit? See, that permit is to keep us from getting it, and those checks are also, those background checks are also. And you know what's crazy about that? Some of our people share that sentiment of our enemy. Because if a brother gets shot down, or a sister, or one of our children gets shot down, and they say, well, this person had a gun. Your sentiment should be, so what? He or she had a gun. That should be your sentiment. Not, oh, he had a gun, so it's justified being shot. Gun control to me, my sentiment, gun control, I believe in gun control. Gun control to me is hitting your damn target when you pull that thing out. Control it. Hit your target. Wherever you aiming at, make sure you get that. That's gun control. Not controlling who have guns.
now I'm like, I don't know what's gonna go on. Like like that, but like
Are you pretty nervous at that point?
Yeah, I was nervous. Like I was really like not really just nervous for myself, but like I was scared for the people that I was with. Like I don't really be thinking about myself. Like I be worried about the people that I be around, and that's my little brother. Like he gotta watch this. Like, you know. Like that's what really just bothered me the most about the whole thing.
And how old's your brother?
How old?
Mhm.
He's like 17.
17. So he was recording. Were you aware he was recording?
Like I ain't know he was recording until I like actually leaned on the car and I looked at him. And like when she put me in the back of the car, that's when his video kind of like shut off because she came and snatched him up and put him in the car like up by a bridge.
So most people have never been tased. Pretty painful.
Yeah, for real. Then it was raining outside. Like it was raining. It had a pretty good drizzle going on outside.
And so at what point did you find out they were charging you with trafficking fentanyl?
I didn't know I was getting charged with trafficking fentanyl until I actually went to court the next day because they wouldn't let me make no phone calls or nothing at all. When I first got to the jail, they just told them we gonna book them on no bond and don't put any charges on them until we come back and tell y'all what to actually put. But they was trying to say they was holding me on the theft of property and to get me to the jail. But I never been arrested in Pickens County other than, well, I wasn't arrested then, but the only thing that ever happened to me in Pickens County.
So wicked cave bitch, wicked as hell. They going to try to charge the brother with fentanyl, and then they're gonna lock him up with no charges, pending what they could put on him. Wicked.
County was a speeding over 25, and I was stopped by a state trooper then. That was like 2021.
Gotcha. And so they had searched your pockets. As your attorney said, there was no baggies, there was no substance. So was this fentanyl charge just made up?
Yeah, it had to be because I didn't have any drugs on me at all. The only thing I had in my pocket was my gun and my phone.
Gotcha. So where do you go from here?
Like, I really don't know. I just really want to I just want justice, honestly. Like, I want her to get what's really coming to her, like, on the legal side. Like, yeah.
So had you ever had any bad interactions with Reform or Pickens County? Any problems with law enforcement?
Like, that was my first time ever, because I'm actually from the Pickens County area. Like, I usually be down there a lot. Yes, ma'am. So
gotcha.
I never really had no bad blood that way.
At all.
The name of the town he was victimized in is called Reform. The irony of that, the town is called Reform, and they have no reformation, but it's called Reform.
At all. So, and how are you feeling mentally, physically?
I mean, like, I'm okay, but like when I'm alone, like I sit and think about it. Cause I mean, like, I try to act okay around the people around, but like at the same time, like I'm really not just okay for real. Cause like it really is traumatizing for real. Like I don't even know how to feel about the police no more. For real.
And so you didn't have any ill will towards police or anything? No reason
I actually had like friends in law enforcement and stuff like that.
Has anyone apologized to you?
No, ma'am.
Do you think you deserve one?
Yeah, I think I do. I would love an apology.
So do you think this was racially motivated?
I think it was like just abuse of authority, if anything. But like, yeah, that could play a part too.
And so, you know, when people watch the video, oh, he should have complied. He should have done more to work with the police. Do you feel you pretty much did everything within your rights and everything?
That's their go-to.
I was still kind of like,
that's their favorite. Just comply. Do what you're told.
Like, through the whole video, other than being tased, like I was still yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all that. Like,
and when you watch her back and hear her voice, that's a lot of something that people have really zeroed in on, to say that it sounded like she was enjoying what she was doing to you.
Yeah, that would have seemed like to me, like she was getting a thrill out of it. Because like when she got me into the back of the police car and my brother video went out, she was basically like, yeah, your bitch ass ain't so tough now. Like she was like, we're gonna enjoy watching this video. Yeah, like she said, we're gonna enjoy going back watching this video.
From what you could tell, did she have a body cam on? Was there a dash cam or anything?
Oh no, when I got into her car, it wasn't nothing plugged up. Like it wasn't even a computer in there, camera, nothing. Like it was just wires. And I don't really think she had a badge cam on.
Now, This is as far as I'm going to go with this interview. I'm going to go to courtesy of the Associated Press. One of the most barbaric things that you can do to a person is sick a dog on them. A two-legged dog sicking a four-legged dog on a person is barbaric as hell. Police dogs shouldn't do anything besides sniff drugs and for bombs, something like that. Or go and see if they can find people that's missing or not biting people. It's barbaric to sick a dog on somebody, have a dog biting on people. But the police would do that instead of chasing you.
Summary unit, Route 1, 801 Route 1. Stop moving! Stop! Stop! Turn around! Turn around! I'm gonna send my dog in a bit. Turn around! Turn around! Turn around! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get him! Get on the ground! Stop resisting! Get him! Dog's on the bite! 801 Route 1, send me a unit. Let the dog. Leave the dog alone.
And these police dogs are trained to do exactly what this dog is doing. And oftentimes it's the dog, it's the dog that's assigned to the other dog, the two-legged dog that's assigned to the four-legged dog. They spend a lot of time, and the commands are given by that officer that's assigned to that dog. And it's barbaric to sick a dog on somebody. Now, you have a gun, you have a taser, you have mace, you have everything that's violent on your belt. And you weaponize a dog, sick a dog on somebody, have a dog mauling someone because you're afraid to approach somebody.
Good boy. Out. Good boy. Down. Don't move. Don't move. I like this. 1046 with one male. You saw me rescue for dog bite. Copy a plate.
Now, we're going to go to South Pasadena, where a canine bites a 5-year-old boy. Barbaric. At a national night out event.
Well, to South Pasadena now, where a national night out event backfired. A police dog bit a little boy, leaving him injured and bloody. But now the police department is under fire. And tonight, the boy's father is talking to us, but South Pasadena police are not. KCAL9's Jake Reiner has details and reaction.
A national night out, an evening intended to endear the public to police, had the opposite effect on the Forbes family.
I'd like an apology.
Josh Forbes' 5-year-old son, Sebastian, was enamored with the canine South Pasadena police.
They would probably do something about this because this little boy was bit. He shouldn't have been bit by a dog. It's a 5-year-old boy, and no child, no adult should be bitten by a dog. A police dog at that. But they'll probably do something about this because this little boy has the complexion for the protection. So they'll probably do something about it. This is when outrage set in when it happens to one of them.
Police had brought out to show off to the crowd. Sebastian took a few steps forward and then retreated, but all of a sudden, seemingly unprovoked.
And before I could even get a chance to step back in the line, the dog went for me.
Somehow he He locked eyes on Sebastian. He didn't like.
Yes, and that's an actual fact on Warfare K. They love those dogs too much to punish them. And you know, that dog is a man's best friend is that's their thing. I don't share that sentiment that a dog is my best friend. No, not no dog.
Didn't like the look of him or something, and the dog just went straight for him and jumped on his face and was biting him and had him pinned to the ground.
Josh and the canine's handler were able to pull the dog off Sebastian fairly quickly, and paramedics who were already on scene for the event tended to Sebastian in the ambulance.
There was like blood streaming down his head, and it's pretty scary.
Sebastian was then rushed to the hospital. He had a bite mark on his ear and needed stitches near his eye.
The cut was so close to his eye, they had to give him ketamine to put him under.
According to Josh, he hasn't received much of anything in the way of remorse or an explanation from police other than a call from them Wednesday asking how Sebastian was doing. Josh says there has been no apology nor an admission of guilt.
I was told, hey, this is an accident. Accidents happen. Calm down. Yeah, I just want to make sure it doesn't happen again. I just want to make sure that this is the last kid that dog ever bites.
Now, when a dog do that, that's owned by a private citizen, the dog is usually put down when a dog bites somebody. So just like any other dog that bites people, it should be put down just like any other dog.
Josh Forbes adds that if that bite had been any closer to his son's eye, he may have lost it. Now, we've been reaching out to South Pasadena police all day long, but have yet to hear back. In South Pasadena, I'm Jake Reiner, KCAL 9 News.
We're going to stay consistent with the police dogs.
This afternoon, IMPD is investigating, looking into what it's calling an unfortunate accident.
This is crazy.
Last night, a pregnant woman was attacked by one of its dogs. Now, she had to be rushed to the hospital. It's actually where she remains at this hour.
The Now's Ann Kelly talking to her family just a bit ago. She joins us live outside of Methodist Hospital with the latest right now for her. And what's going on?
Raphael and Candace, Mara Mancini, that 20-year-old woman who is 8 months pregnant, she is recovering at the hospital right here behind me. Now, before I get to how she is doing, I want to break down exactly what happened last night that led to her getting bit. Now, her parents and IMPD telling me police have been...
Now, this dog definitely should be put down. Biting a pregnant woman, and this woman was unrelated to the chase of a suspect, and this 8-month pregnant woman, she was 8 months pregnant and got bit by a police dog. Now, that dog don't belong on the streets. Peace to my brother, Big Dog, Philly OG. Thanks for tapping in. This dog don't belong on the streets. It should be put down, euthanized.
Been chasing a suspect through her alley in the 300 block of North Addison. That's on the southwest side of the city. This is a suspect they thought may have a gun. So officers did as they normally do. They deployed one of their dogs. Now, how was Mara bit? Well,
see, this is cowardice. You said the person had a gun. You have a gun. You'll send a dog in to get shot instead of chasing the suspect. Punks.
the suspect ran into her yard. The dog followed. She heard a commotion. She stepped
Peace to the good brother T. Wriggles. Salute, good brother.
outside to see what was happening, and the animal attacked, confusing her with the man police have been chasing. Amara's dad telling me his daughter, the dog bit his daughter on her arm and thigh, and she was immediately rushed to the hospital.
She's still in the hospital. She's suffering with a lot of pain. She had to have surgery. She has some nerve damage done in her arm. The bite on her thigh, I'm not real sure on the condition of that. I'm not sure when she's going to be getting out.
He adds the baby Mara is carrying is expected to be okay, but are of course going to be monitoring it closely, all while demanding an explanation from IMPD. Mara was at her home on her property, simply stepped outside and was attacked. How did this happen? Again, IMPD saying directly, this was an accident. Nothing Mara did wrong. The dog happened to just be confused. Coming up on the news at 5, we learn what the department is doing as a result of this attack and what police say you can do to protect yourself from a similar incident. For now, we are reporting live outside IU Methodist Health downtown and Kelly, RTV.
Now we're going to go over to the trigger-happy wicked demons.
2 IMPD officers indicted by a grand jury are expected to make their first appearance in court later this morning. Officer Carl Chandler and Alexander Gregory are facing multiple charges for the shooting of 24-year-old Anthony Macklin, who'd been asleep in his car outside his grandmother's house last December. CBS 4's Cameron Riddle joins us live at the courthouse this morning with the very latest on what we know ahead of this morning's court hearing. Good morning, Cameron.
Hey, good morning. Both of those.
It was a police dog, my brother T. Riggles. So I still agree with you, what you said. The one who owns a dog would be the police department, and then that falls on the taxpayers. The reason why the police are not held accountable like they should is when people sue the police and win a lawsuit, that money don't come out the police budget. It comes out the taxpayers' budget. So we're double dipping in the money that comes out of our paychecks. So the people of that city gotta pay the cop still and that lawsuit. That's what needs to change. When the police get sued, it should come out their budget. They should suffer. They should have to go and move money around. And what people should do really is sue the insurance company that insure the police department to make the police department a liability to that insurance company, and the insurance company would be like, we're paying too much money out because of y'all are reckless, you're indiscriminate, so we can't insure you. That's a solution to that.
Those officers are now facing multiple felony charges for the shooting that happened on New Year's Eve. It was caught on body camera video, and it shows officers firing dozens of rounds toward 24-year-old Anthony Macklin. The charges against Officer Chandler and Officer Gregory include aggravated battery, battery with a deadly weapon, and battery resulting in serious bodily injury. IMPD released this body camera footage after the incident where Officers Chandler and Gregory found Macklin sleeping inside of a rental car. They responded after his grandmother called for officers to come check out the vehicle because she did not recognize it. Well, during the attempt to wake up Macklin, the officers saw that he was sleeping with a gun on his lap. Police say Macklin never fired the weapon, but body camera video shows the officers firing dozens of shots into the car. IMPD says there was no clear view of the position of the gun after Macklin woke up and moved.
And what's crazy about this happened in an open carry state when, scared to death, Caucasians see a brother with a gun, whether he has a permit or not. Something goes through them. It was a experiment that took place. I forgot what state. I believe it was Michigan, though, where a group of brothers, they had white friends, and they did this experiment with their AR-15s. White boy walked past the police with his AR-15 strapped to his back. The cops admired the gun. They had a conversation about the gun. I'm going to find that and do a stream about it. Had a conversation about the gun and everything. Then they cut to the brother walking past the cop with his AR-15. They jumped out the car, ordered the brother to the ground, and all this other stuff. Same type of gun in the same state. Michigan's an open carry state. Let me tell you, if I lived in an open carry state, I don't give a damn who it is. You're going to honor my permit. You're not going to ask me about my gun. You're not going to ask me about my long gun. You're going to honor my right to have that gun. Straight up, you're not going to question me. And if you pull your gun out on me, I'm going to pull mine out on you. You better be as willing to die as you are to kill.
Moved his arm. After being shot, he said he slept in the car because he didn't want to wake up his grandmother. He survived that shooting after having 6 surgeries and being hospitalized for 17 days.
We know police officers can use force when most of us in the community cannot, but that force has to be reasonable under the circumstances. And so when we're going to have these conversations about reasonableness, we think it makes sense to present this to the grand jury, which is comprised of members of our community.
Macklin's attorney shared a statement with us calling the shooting senseless. It reads in part, quote, Anthony's only offense was being a young black man in a high crime neighborhood. This shoot first can ask questions later approach to policing is illegal and it cannot be tolerated, which is why the family is grateful for the criminal process and that it will proceed against officers Gregory and Chandler. A statement from the officer's attorney says these officers acted in accordance with their training to defend their lives when a subject grabbed a gun and raised it.
You can't startle a person and don't expect them to raise their gun at you. Whether they're in a car or you're kicking their goddamn door down going into their home. You're waking somebody up, whether it's in their home or in their car. You're startling them. They don't know who the hell you are. And oftentimes when they're breaking down your door, they're in all black, yelling and screaming. What the hell are you supposed to do? Somebody in your house waking you up, yelling and screaming in your face, and you got a weapon. You're going to raise it.
Toward them. Officers Chandler and Gregory look forward to a full and fair opportunity to defend themselves in court and establish that they acted legally and appropriately. IMPD tells us both officers are now on paid leave. They are expected in court later this morning. We're live.
Paid leave for shooting a brother. That's a damn vacation and a reward. But you know what? Those Caucasian officers, if they can't go out in the streets, they can't put that gun on. Most of them love those guns more than they love their wife, more than they love their family. They love that gun more than anything. And that's why they take the job. They want the gun.
Of the Community Justice Complex, I'm Cameron Riddle, CBS 4 News.
They attack our people and other people in general all around.
A state trooper facing criminal charges after an incident with a Saginaw man last September. State police released footage of the encounter.
TV5's James Felton takes a closer look.
What you're seeing is the beginning of an interaction between Michigan State Police and a Saginaw man last September. In the interest of transparency, MSP provided us with 42 minutes of body cam video from the incident. Here's a portion of it.
All right, hold on. Time out.
According to the MSP, Trooper Paul Arrowwood and his partner were on patrol when they saw the man walking in the road on Weber Street near Julius Street in Saginaw. The troopers attempted to physically detain the man. Arrowwood took the man to the ground.
Hey!
Just walking down the street, and Michigan State Trooper seen a brother walking down the street, and this is what happened. They have it in them that they could stop us and we have to comply with them. They tell us to do something, we automatically have to do it. Even if it's an unlawful request, they expect people to do it. This type of behavior is going to make everybody rise up against law enforcement because people are getting tired of being their victims. People getting tired of just being slammed, and a lot of times they don't even say anything to you. They'll just come and put their hands on you. I don't like people touching me. I don't like people touching me. I don't like people trying to get familiar with me or touching me. I don't like that. So if you come putting your hands up on me, I'm going to do what I know. But they haven't done it to the right person yet.
On Friday, Arrowwood was arraigned in a Saginaw County courtroom on a criminal charge of misconduct in office, a felony, and assault and battery, a misdemeanor. Saginaw County Prosecutor John McColgan authorized the charges following an investigation conducted by the MSP. MSP told us that the actions of Trooper Paul Arrowwood fall outside of MSP policy and procedure, and they constitute an unwarranted use of force. Going on to say that the members of the Michigan State Police are committed to treating everyone with dignity and respect, and we will tolerate no less. When we fall short of this standard, we will hold our members accountable.
Oh my God! Help! Help! I gotta do it.
Arrowwood was suspended on September 30th, 2022. He remains on unpaid suspension pending adjudication of the criminal case against him and any resulting administrative investigation.
Thank you for beating my ass. And I hope your camera was on. I hope your camera was on. Yeah, you see? Look at this. Look at this. Help me. Help.
MSP tells us the agency is evaluating use of force training, specifically strikes to the head and face, along with building upon the de-escalation training program. As for Arrowwood, he pled not guilty to the charges. He is due back in court later this month. James Felton, WNEM, TV5.
Michigan State Police tell us the 3rd District has 2 other non-related use of force cases that are pending prosecutor review, which could potentially result in criminal charges against members of MS.
Now, we have a witness who filmed the Tacoma police confrontation.
Jurors hear from 2 eyewitnesses in the trial of the death of Manuel Ellis. The witnesses say Ellis was attacked by Tacoma police officers the night he died. Officers Matthew Collins and Christopher Burbank face second-degree murder and manslaughter charges. Officer Timothy Rankin is charged with manslaughter. King 5's Drew Mickelson has the testimony from 2 key witnesses.
Prosecutors told jurors they would provide eyewitness accounts of what happened that night in March of 2020. And today, 2 witnesses took the stand to say Manuel Ellis was attacked.
It's just odd why they weren't going.
Sarah McDowell testified she saw Manuel Ellis walking on the sidewalk before a police officer called Ellis over to their car. She said the passenger quickly opened the door, knocking Ellis to the ground.
I hurried up and grabbed my phone and started recording.
Hey! Stop! Oh my God, stop hitting him!
McDowell said 2 officers attacked Ellis and hit him repeatedly. Minutes later, Ellis was dead. She said she recorded the incident because Ellis hadn't done anything wrong and wasn't fighting back.
Because what I had seen scared me and I didn't see any need for it. So I wanted to make sure that whatever happened was on tape.
What did you see Mr. Ellis doing at that time?
Not struggling.
Did you see Mr. Ellis at any time strike back at the officer?
No, I didn't.
Keon Lowry was in a car behind Sarah McDowell. The 2 share 2 daughters, and he was following her to a relative's house. Lowry says when Ellis was taken down and repeatedly hit, Lowry got out of his car.
I felt I needed to help him.
Who did you need to help?
Manuel Ellis,
Why did you feel like you needed to help him?
because the activity I was seeing wasn't something I've seen cops do.
Attorneys for the officers say Ellis, who was high on meth, was the aggressor, that he threatened the officers and refused to stop fighting. At least one of those officers, Timothy Rankin, is expected to testify in his own defense. During cross-examination, defense attorneys for the officers brought up several discrepancies between statements made today on the stand and statements that have been made over the past couple of years to investigators from those two witnesses, whether or not their windows are up, if they saw a taser, or which way Ellis was walking before the encounter. But both witnesses did not change the part of their story that said Ellis was the one who was attacked. In Tacoma, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Now, this is something that I can't imagine, and I don't wish on anybody. Now, this brother served 68 years in Pennsylvania.
The U.S. has long led the world in the number of children sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And one state, Pennsylvania, has put more juveniles behind bars for life than anywhere else in the country. Of those people, Joe Ligon has the tragic distinction of being the oldest and longest serving juvenile lifer in the country. He was recently released from a Pennsylvania prison after 68 years. CBS This Morning Saturday co-host Michelle Miller spoke with Ligon in his first television interview since his release. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. Joe Ligon was released from prison back in February after a series of U.S. Supreme Court decisions found that those mandatory life without parole sentences for juveniles were unconstitutional. This highlights the issues of oversentencing in America's criminal justice system.
So they took 68 years to determine that sentencing juveniles to life in prison is unconstitutional. 68 years. Ponder that. How long it takes them to serve real justice.
For Ligon, now a free man, he's entering a world, a modern world he barely knows. What was the first thing you did as a free man?
I almost cried, okay, but I broke down with a big smile on my face. A free man, free at last.
83-year-old Joe Ligon was released from prison last month after serving nearly 7 decades for crimes he committed when he was 15. Ligon, the son of Alabama sharecroppers, was incarcerated when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
And Nat King Cole's Pretend was on the music charts.
Yeah, those buses there, they didn't exist when I was going to have the streetcar
lives, yeah.
Yeah.
He returns to a changed world.
I looked at it when I seen all these high buildings, but I expect to see that. They locked me up. They did. They didn't lock my mind up.
In 1953, Ligon and 4 other black teenagers were involved in an alcohol-fueled spree of robberies and stabbings in Philadelphia. 2 people died. What were you guilty of?
I was guilty with being at the wrong place at the wrong time. It wasn't with the intention of hurting nobody. I didn't murder anybody.
There are people out there who are going to watch, and they're going to say, he stabbed someone. He committed a crime. You say to them what?
I'm sorry that I committed a crime. I'm sorry that someone was murdered. I'm sorry about that.
Ligon concedes he did stab someone that night, but maintains he didn't kill anyone. He says he's a changed man. Did you feel remorse for what you did?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I had to feel remorse.
The teenagers were tried together.
It was a city hall.
When you were tried?
Yeah, that's what they told me.
They pleaded guilty and were convicted of 2 counts.
Peace to my brother, Equator 7. Salute to you.
Of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of ever getting out.
This is the habeas petition I filed.
Public defender Bradley Bridge has
It's the same thing that they did with Lionel Tate down in Florida a few years ago. Lionel Tate was a 12-year-old boy. His mother was a Florida state trooper. She was babysitting somebody's daughter, and they was down in the basement playing. They was playing wrestling, and the boy was kind of big for his age. He was handling the little girl too rough and ended up killing her. And the judge gave that 12-year-old boy life without the eligibility of parole. He spent a few years in prison, put him in an adult prison as a 12-year-old boy. And I think the little brother learned how to be a criminal while he was in prison. They didn't put him in juvie hall. They put him in an adult prison around a bunch of men. And I think he learned criminality while he was in prison. And a few years later, they let him out. And the young brother started committing crimes. And I think he robbed a pizza place. He robbed a few places. And I believe he's in prison now. And I think he learned that criminal activity while he was locked up.
Has represented Ligon for more than 15 years.
I sensed there was an injustice. I felt compelled to do something about it.
So why was Joe convicted?
Joe was convicted largely by guilt by association. There were 4 kids that were tried together, and a lot of the evidence against one child was considered against the other 2 or 3 other children. If this case went forward to trial today, he'd probably be found guilty of a manslaughter charge, or maybe a third-degree murder, and might do 5 to 10 or 10 to 20.
Ligon's niece, Valerie, came to our interview because she wants to show the world Ligon has a supportive family.
Yeah, she told me. She told me all the stories.
His fate started to change in 2016 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that all juvenile lifers.
And that's another thing that they do. If the police respond to a burglary call, and it's like 3 of you, and the police end up shooting one of the burglars, the other 2 gets charged with the killing. Not the cop. The 2 that was with him gets charged. And they want to call America's jurisprudence the best in the world. That's not justice. The 3 burglars may have been breaking in somebody's house, but they didn't have a gun in their hand. The cop shot one of the burglars, but they charged the other 2 with the murder of their homie.
Should have a chance to be resentenced. But after nearly 7 decades behind bars, Ligon refused to be released on parole because he didn't want to be supervised for the rest of his life. So they kept fighting until a federal judge recently vacated his sentence. He was released without parole.
You're free outright.
Outright. Thank you, Jesus.
Does Joe's case symbolize what's wrong with the criminal justice system?
First of all, it symbolizes that we really should sentence people individually based on who they are and what it was that they did. So a mandatory sentence doesn't do that. And the second thing is that children are particularly unique in their ability to grow, change, and reform themselves. And therefore, giving an adult sentence to a child is inherently wrong.
The world may have changed. Most of his immediate family is long gone. But Joe Ligon says he's not dwelling on the past.
There's nothing I can do about the past. But the only thing I can say, I just hope I have a better future.
And consider this, it cost the state of Pennsylvania $3 million to incarcerate Joe Ligon for those 68 years, and that's without any medical costs, Gail.
And that's a lot of correction officers that were paid throughout those years. there's a lot of contracts with the state of Pennsylvania to keep that one man in prison for 68 years. It's about contracts. It's about the necessities of those who work in the municipality. And it costs, I don't know what it costs in Pennsylvania, but I know in New Jersey it's 40 grand per prisoner. That's the salary of a corrections officer. Just add that up with all the prisoners in a particular state. It's all about the money, and it's all about what the police officers and the correction officers, the judges, is all about their necessities, and they base the sentences and they base, the penalties on their cost. Now we're going to go to a police officer.
Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questions.
We're going to go through some racist police officers getting what they deserve.
And rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a racist police officer pulled a vehicle over and harassed the occupants, eventually arresting them for simply holding a phone in their hands. On July 19th, 2023, an officer with the Menominee Falls Police Department was out on patrol duty when he observed a vehicle going 49 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone.
Again, they earn the hate, and we more than likely will forever have content from crooked racist ass police officers.
In response, the officer pursued the vehicle with his license siren switched on and followed the car until it pulled into a parking lot. It's worth noting that the driver immediately slowed down after realizing that a patrol vehicle behind him was trying to initiate a traffic stop. Also, another quick piece of information to keep in mind is that the 3 occupants of the vehicle were actually on a DoorDash delivery. This became apparent very quickly once the officer made contact with them. The first few seconds of this footage are muted, as it comes from the dash cam of the patrol vehicle.
You roll the windows down for me. What's going on? Why are you trying to dip out on me?
DoorDash.
Okay. You're door dashing right here?
Yeah, I swear to God, like this is what we was doing. Yeah, we was here. That's all I was.
Can I see the address? You pulled a U-turn real fast and pulled in here. When a cop turns their lights on, you're supposed to pull over right away. All right? You shouldn't be pulling to the back of a parking lot when someone turns their lights on.
No, we understand that, but we was coming here anyway. So it was like, instead of holding up traffic and stopping, we just pull right here.
Now, the officer has yet to state his reason for the traffic stop, and instead accused the driver of trying to flee. He added that the driver was supposed to pull over immediately, but the passenger in the back seat claimed that they didn't want to hold up traffic by pulling over there and then. Plus, they had a DoorDash delivery to make at that specific address anyway, so it made sense to pull into the parking lot, which is indeed a safe spot as compared to the road itself. Referring to some general rules and procedures, once the stop is initiated, you should carefully but promptly slow down and signal to the right and pull over in a safe location. Taking too long to pull over can be misconstrued as fleeing or impairment. Pulling over erratically can also be considered a sign of impairment. Judging by this, the driver acted appropriately by pulling over in a safe location. But depending on how far or how long he drove to get there, the officer might be justified in having his guard up, though it's not to be forgotten that the officer has yet to state such a thing. He didn't claim they drove away for too long, but instead stated that they made some quick movements. This was likely why he asked the driver to show him proof of the DoorDash delivery, which was shown and clarified. Next, watch closely as the officer slowly starts fishing for something by asking.
Now, if he asked for the address and it was clarified, first, he was in compliance with pulling over in a safe area. Now, this cop is at work, and so is this DoorDasher. He clarified by giving the address of the customer, but it's not enough for this pig. He wants to fish and take this man off his job and put him in a cage.
Asking a ton of questions and trying to trick the passengers into giving up their rights.
Okay. You should still stop right away. All right? And you're not getting out of the car right now to deliver that. Okay? You got an ID on you?
So these people, food has to be cold. You're not getting out the car to deliver that. Stopping the man from doing his job. They absolutely earn the hate that people have for them.
You have a Wisconsin license or no? You live in Arkansas?
No, that's where I live. Well, yeah, no. But like, I'm visiting here now.
You're visiting right now? Okay.
But he lived here before.
You don't have a Wisconsin ID?
It's old. Yeah.
Okay. I stopped because you're going 49 and a 30. Just so you know. Okay, you're going 19 over. All right, is this your vehicle? Whose vehicle is this? Your big sister's? Okay. Is this your current address, Little Rock? Do you have an address up here? Nothing? How long are you staying up here?
I'm supposed to leave. I go to college. I'm supposed to leave by the end of this month.
Okay, so you're just here for the summer or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from here.
Are you two from here? Okay. What's your phone number, man? You guys have IDs on you?
Yeah, I do. It's in my book bag.
Where is it?
My book bag.
Where's that?
He's not supposed to ask the passengers for ID unless there's a crime that has been committed. Now, this is traffic, but as far as a crime, he don't have absolutely no reasonable articulable suspicion to be asking them for their ID. If this is a traffic stop, you deal with the driver.
That. You can grab it.
Peace to my brother, Bronze Flat Power God. Thanks for tapping in. Salute, family.
At this point, the officer demanded ID from the driver, which was justified, but also from both passengers, which was certainly not required. In Wisconsin, as the passenger, you are under no suspicion of wrongdoing, and as such do not need to answer any line of questions, provide any identification on request or demand, or provide proof of legal immigration status. The police are not able to arrest you for simply refusing to identify yourself. In other words, the officer was trying to essentially coerce the passengers into revealing their identities, something which they didn't need to do. But luckily, the driver had his elder sister on the phone, who was well aware of the constitutional rights given to the members of the public. She was quick to step in and prevented the officer from abusing his authority.
Oh.
You got ID, man?
Yeah. Hey, she said, "Why you need an ID if it's a junkie?"
I'm just asking.
He just asked. He was just asking.
So you don't need to see it? All right, so you don't need to see it?
I'm asking for it.
You asking for it?
Yes.
But I don't have to show it?
As the passenger, you don't have to give it to me, but I'm asking you for it.
That's cool.
Don't do it.
Do you have anything here you shouldn't have? Okay. Because it smells like marijuana.
Oh my God, he's going to the template go-to bullshit.
It smells like it. You sure don't want to tell me right now?
We don't. It's an ashtray. I don't think it's
Okay. Let me see.
It's like missing like using.
Okay. 3.
That's probably.
This is your sister's car? Okay. You know if anyone smoked in it recently?
She said she did. Probably.
So this is what you call a fishing expedition. This is what he's doing. He's fishing. He went from you going over the speed limit to why you didn't pull over, asking for IDs, and when they didn't comply with the ID, now all of a sudden he smelled marijuana. Why wasn't that the first thing he said when he walked up to the damn vehicle? It's a fishing expedition. It's what these devils do to try to get you to give up your rights.
Is that sister on the phone? Okay. Tell her it smells like weed in here. You guys are driving it.
As outrageous as it sounds, what we've just seen is an ego-driven police officer failing to violate the occupant's rights and then switching plans to still try and abuse his authority after already failing one time.
What they should have done is said, I want a second opinion that it smells like marijuana in his car. Get me your supervisor.
The officer, right after being told that the passengers wouldn't provide ID, came up with a good old odor of marijuana accusation. He quite immediately brought it up, almost as if it was already a backup plan he had in his arsenal. Unfortunately for the occupants of the vehicle, the Supreme Court has stated that cars smelling like marijuana is enough for police in Wisconsin to justify searching a person in the vehicle, even though substances legal in the state can smell the same. Plus, in the 1990s,
So that's the go-to template of an excuse. He wants to justify searching the passengers by saying that he smelled marijuana. See, that's what they use. They always find some type of loophole. These demons, like I said, they earn the hate. They're corrupt to the core. They earn the hate that people have for them. They just can't. They want to be seen as these noble people, heroes and all that, but they do not possess that characteristic at all.
1999 case of State v. Sechrist, a Wisconsin judge concluded that the odor of a controlled substance provides probable cause to arrest when the odor is unmistakable and may be linked to a specific person or persons because of the circumstances in which the odor is discovered, or because other evidence links the odor to the person or persons. What's missing from both these sources is the fact that an officer could quite easily assume that he or she smelled an odor of marijuana and still proceeded to arrest the suspect without actually smelling anything. We can't be certain whether such was the case here, but that didn't matter since the officer exposed his tyranny himself, as you will now see.
Okay. All right, why don't you step out for me? Yep. All three of you come out.
I'm going to search the car.
Leave the phone in there, sir. Step out, leave the phone. Keep your hand out of your pockets. Hey, what's his name?
TJ, listen. He said leave the
TJ.
phone. Why you got my phone?
Leave the phone in there.
Why can't he have his phone?
Leave the phone
Why
in there.
can't he have his phone?
Because I'm telling you, you can't right now.
Is
We're
that a law?
investigating.
That's another lie. He can't have his phone. He can record his encounter with the police. And because they're investigating, it's not the law for him to put his phone away. He can record his encounter with the police. What they're trying to do is have this stop undocumented so it can be their word against his word, and he don't want it recorded.
Something.
Is that a law?
Put your phone in there right.
And not only that, it's not the duty of these young men to help them with their investigation against themselves. That's called self-incrimination. And look, watch how he escalated, yelling a demand like that's supposed to scare somebody.
Right now. Put your phone in there. Put your phone in there because I'm going to search the car for marijuana. Okay, we're investigating something. You're not allowed on the phone. Put it in there. I'm not going to ask you again.
It's a lawful order. So it's a lawful order that we can't have our phone.
Put it in there.
That's just how I'm done.
Put it in there. Put your phone in there.
I don't care, my nigga. Get it off.
I'm not going to ask you again. I'm not going to ask you again.
I'm ask your face on. Money up.
Turn around. Turn around. Stop. Stop resisting right now. Stop resisting. Stop resisting right now. Stop resisting.
Look, they
I'm going to tase you. I will tase you if you don't stop.
Right? They freaking me for no grab my phone, bro. I can't have a phone. What you talking about?
They don't care. They will break the law. The police will break the law with their camera running. Your camera on them, but they'll break the law, violating your rights with their camera running. They don't even care about that.
Already saw this coming after the odor of marijuana accusation. The officer first ordered just the driver out and then promptly gave the same command to the passengers, adding that he would be searching the vehicle. As discussed earlier, officers can rely on their senses to establish probable cause. Therefore, if an officer smells marijuana coming from a vehicle, he or she may search the car without a warrant. But problems arise when officers claim to smell marijuana when they, in reality, do not. This is unlawful police procedure, and any evidence obtained in this manner should be suppressed and cannot be held against you. But that's not the main issue anymore. We've just seen the officer order one of the passengers to leave his mobile phone, which is his personal property, inside the car before stepping out. In other words, he was seizing his personal property, and this was a violation of his...
Exactly. Violated the young man's Fourth Amendment right. He has a right against search and seizures. He have a right against that. This is personal property.
Fourth Amendment right, which keeps people secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. What's worse is that since backup had arrived, the officer was more comfortable violating the passenger's rights, so they all teamed up to physically restrain him, snatch his phone from him, and then place him in handcuffs.
And what's crazy about that, if I was a cop and I seen another cop doing something against departmental policy or violating somebody's right, I'm not backing you doing that. You are by your goddamn self doing that. Because when they charge your ass with that, they're going to charge you by yourself.
Handcuffs.
Pulse 211, 11080.
Like, sis, hey, can't we record? Ain't that our right to record? Hey, ain't that our right to record?
As mentioned by this educated man, he did indeed have the right to record the officers, and what's ironic is that the officer had ordered him to leave his mobile phone in the car, which would by extension prevent him from recording in the first place. It stated that persons who are lawfully in public spaces or locations where they have a legal right to be present, such as their home, place of business, or the common areas of public and private facilities and buildings, have a First Amendment right to record things in plain sight or hearing, to include police activity. Police members may not threaten, intimidate, or otherwise discourage or interfere with the recording of police activities. Regardless of this, the passenger was essentially attacked, assaulted, stripped of his rights, and now placed under arrest for obstruction of justice, all because he held his phone in his hand.
Step in front of the car. Step in front of the car. Stay right here. Stay right here.
Okay? I'm not moving.
Stop resisting. All right?
I'm resisting. I'm turning
You
around.
are. I'm telling you to face the car. Don't move and face the car. Don't move. Don't move. Face the car. Everything on you that's going to poke me?
They want him to face the car. They will turn you away from the vehicle to plant something in your vehicle. That's what they would do. Face the car, they'll turn you totally away from your vehicle so they can put something in your vehicle to plant on you and charge you with it.
No.
You're under arrest for obstruction. Just so you know. Okay?
Bro, what?
Obstruction.
Obstruction.
Hey,
Hey,
we good.
We good.
Hey, hey, listen to me. No, can I just explain to you guys? We got the body cams going, okay? Okay.
What do you think I got to do with him not being able to have his phone? He can have his phone, right?
As part of the
That's a
investigation.
real question. He can have his phone, right?
Not while we're doing an investigation.
That shit, it's not an investigation. Y'all put us over. It's a traffic stop.
I can put you over.
You can turn it. We not turning into an investigation. It was just a traffic stop.
He can't have his phone during the investigation. That young man can have his phone through this entire ordeal. They violated his rights, his Fourth Amendment rights, by trying to tell him, even telling him to stop recording, telling him to leave his phone in the car. They violated his rights.
You already got your demo.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Is this yours?
It's not his fault.
And then they try to arrest the other young man for obstruction. He did not obstruct justice. They obstructed justice by fishing for a crime to put on these young brothers.
The police officer just tried to take his phone for no reason. That's not a law. That's not. It was a traffic stop. Now they talking about an investigation. Exactly.
The car reeks of weed.
He said the person who didn't pull us over said the car reeks of weed.
Oh, 513, looks like everybody's 23.
I don't. We in Menominee Falls. Now they having another police officer come and another one. It's 4 trucks. That's cool. Hey, everybody's cool.
Wait, what he doing? Where he going?
Hey, hold on. What y'all doing? What y'all doing?
Hold on.
Why are you arresting him?
I just got here.
He's under arrest. I heard obstructing.
Okay.
What is it?
I
Okay,
stopped
look.
my traffic stop. So just wait a minute.
Okay, look, it's your traffic stop, so can I talk to you? Come here, come here. We don't gotta talk to nobody else. Come here. Why is he getting arrested?
Why is there so many people here? It's just 3 of us. What's going on?
We good. We don't gotta talk to none of them. We talking to him who pulled us out.
I'm Tina.
Now look, hold on. Talk to you. Look, we don't gotta put it down.
Wait,
We don't gotta put
wait,
it down.
you asked
We don't
like-
gotta put it down. Look.
Wait, just let him
Now,
talk.
why is he being arrested?
Do you want me to explain to you
Yeah,
what's
why is
going on? Put your phone down. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you.
I don't have to put my phone down. I'm
Put your
talking to
phone
you.
down.
I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
You really want to do
You
this?
just sit it up.
I'm
You just want to
talking
do the
to you.
same thing.
Bro, I don't give a fuck. Hold on. I
I'm
don't.
wasting my.
It's not a law that I have to put my phone down. You talking to me, so talk to me. You're not arresting me. You're not doing.
Tina, I'm gonna sit the phone up.
Take him
Hold on.
to the side and hang on him over there.
Whoa,
Come with me. I will talk to you.
we good.
Come with me.
Just
I will talk to you.
okay.
They love putting their hands on people. See, that's the problem. They're allowing them and letting them be comfortable with putting their hands on them. See, what they should have said, don't put your hands on me. And he have a right to say, don't put your hands on me. And you got a right to defend yourself against whoever put their hands on you. They didn't say you're under arrest, so coming and grabbing on me just because you feel like you're comfortable with doing that. We have to have these people not comfortable with just walking up to you, putting down. I don't like people touching me. I don't like that.
Okay, talk
Who's
to
on
me.
the phone with you?
I don't have to tell you that
Why are you being like this?
because it's my right.
You're making this more
You think you
difficult.
better than me?
See, the thing is, they always use this. Let's make it easy. Never make it easy for these pigs to violate your rights. They want it easy. They want to make it easy. They want you to make it easy for them to violate your rights. Never do that.
Because you a police officer, you came over here and you arrested him for having his phone.
No,
You see how dumb that
why.
Why is it then? Why is he in the back of your
I
car?
pulled you guys over.
Why is he in the back of your car? That's
do
what
you
I'm
want
asking.
me to explain or no?
Answer my
'Cause you're just
question.
talking over
Answer
me.
my question.
I'm trying to
Answer
talk
my
to you.
question.
I pulled you guys over.
Answer my question.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not talking to you about this.
Now he don't want to talk. He don't want to say why the fuck.
Stay here.
Exactly. That shit. They think they're dealing with somebody who's stupid.
Stay over here.
Okay. You who put us over? What you doing?
He's talking to the boss. He'll be over in a minute.
He talking to the boss. He'll be over here in a second. Somebody else. AJ, why are you talking to him? He didn't pull you over. AJ, come grab the phone. Come grab the phone. You good? You can come grab it. He can.
They don't want me to move. Just go. That's
Why are you touching? He can grab the phone. Excuse me. Why he can't talk on the phone? Here, come grab it. You can grab it. She's right here. You don't have to. Pass it. You don't have to.
Following this, officers searched the vehicle and found a very small amount of marijuana somewhere inside. One of the passengers immediately claimed it to be his and was promptly placed under arrest. But let's not forget that this entire ordeal was already unlawful at this point, which could mean that any evidence beyond that point may be
all the evidence that they found is inadmissible because of how they obtained it. All of it is going to get thrown out because how they obtained it. Because for one, if you suspected marijuana in the car, that's not what you initially stopped the car for. Speeding, and he only did that because they didn't cooperate with giving their IDs. A bunch of damn coward punks.
Inadmissible in court. Other than that, the driver, who was technically still completely innocent, was tackled to the ground with one of the officer's knees on his neck.
Who's this belong to? You know it's mine. You know it's mine. It's my bag. You know it's mine.
This wasn't in the bag.
It's cool though. It's mine.
You're claiming this?
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's mine.
Huh?
Exactly.
It's who?
That's how dumb you sound.
Post 217 assault.
What is dumb ass? He looking at me dumb as hell.
Is this yours?
Yes. How many times I gotta tell you, bro?
Okay. You stand up for me?
It hurt. It should have been hurt. No, wait. That's
bro.
Sit in front of the car.
I'm in the it's here. Hold on. They put the phone down already. Get up.
Set it down.
I'm gonna get it. Come grab my stuff. Here, bro. You grab stuff here. AJ! Bro, grab my phone. AJ, just shut up and grab my phone. Stay right there. You don't have to say shit.
Just pick the stuff up on the grass.
Bro, don't touch my phone. AJ. Bro. Hey, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
All right, let's keep everybody's stuff straight.
That's his. Them his keys. That's mine. You got my bag on me?
Your bag, your bag.
You gonna grab it? Sure.
They earn the hate.
You got the outside, yeah.
Hey, get your knee off him.
Just
bro.
relax.
Hey, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Hey. Hey. Who are you yelling at? Bro.
False. 218 or 1080 with you. Yeah, that's fine.
Bro. Hey. Don't put him in my car. You can buck on here?
Safety first.
They absolutely earn the hate.
We never got his name.
Can you please unbuckle the seatbelt? Unbuckle the seatbelt.
It has to stay buckled, man.
It feels weird.
I can stand up on my own. Let go. Bro, you just said stand up. Why is y'all on me like this? Can y'all explain why y'all on me like this? Like, I'm not even doing this. I haven't did nothing this whole time.
Make sure you have control of that.
Here we go with this shit, bro. I haven't even done this the whole time, bro. I can stand up. Like, why is y'all grabbing me? I didn't do nothing this whole time.
Huh? I know. Walk over here for me, okay?
Oh my gosh, bro. I swear to God, my soul. I didn't do nothing.
All this from a traffic stop. A young man at work, door dashing, and these wicked demons. And not only that, this is 2023 that this happened. And he's going to jail over some damn weed.
Right here, right here, right here, right here. Separate feet. Yeah, like I really did something. Oh, all right. Scared me the whole time. Now I'm tackled in the drive. All right. You want to go in my pants? Nope. I feel like shit. Or you got me down on the fucking dirt. I'm surprised you ain't feel everything in. Excuse me? Why you have me on the ground like that?
Lock my car.
Why you have me on the ground like extra day, boss? What did I do? What did I do?
Take a seat.
But like how? How?
He's obstructed an investigation. The people who you are investigating are not obligated to help you investigate them. Obstruction of an investigation against himself, anybody's going to do that. And not only that, if I help you investigate me, that's called self-incrimination.
How am I expressing when I've been standing there the whole time? Oh my.
They wanted to charge all these brothers. They wanted to charge all of them with something. They just couldn't let it go that the young man was working, door dashing.
Oh my God.
Ultimately, all three men were placed under arrest. The driver was in for obstructing an investigation. The passenger who had his phone snatched was in for obstruction of justice. And the last passenger was in for possession of marijuana. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter.
Now I have to hear this song. I'm gonna take a music break. I have to hear this song. Shout out to my brother Big Dog for putting me up on this.
All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Don't what people say, we know the truth. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Enough is enough of this garbage.
Listen to my war cry. I'm gifted. I done seen bullets soar by with my own eyes. I'm angelical. I am not of this world, nigga. That's what I'm telling you. My ears are my eyes are my ears. I see what you saying. I hear what you feel. But you ain't talking about too much. That badge and that gun in your hand got you acting too tough. You crazy? Real soon niggas gon' bust back. Don't play with me. At the round table, we don't discuss that. We must protect us at all costs. If it means acting like Nat Turner, cutting the master head off, let's do it. Freedom ain't free and peace ain't either. And if you married that woman, don't cheat on her or beat her. Gotta protect the queens. Let them know that we gon' love them. That's by any means. Treat every man like your brother, only if he for the cause though. Cause most of these niggas still living lost though. Miserable lost souls. As the Lord weeps when an angel die. Gangsta Paradise, the soundtrack of dangerous minds. I got a dangerous mind, yeah. When I aim at swine, turn them pigs to bacon bits. When I'm banging mine, why should I turn the other cheek when you hit me first? Why should I pray for you when you trying to get me murked? It's mind elevation. I walk with both eyes closed, but my third eye's open, nigga. That's how I know the people all is foolishness. Before I sell my soul for a steak, I forever eat tuna fish. Let us bow our head and say a prayer. Heavenly Father, are you listening? Are you there? Do you care about them crackers shooting niggas down? And if you do, let us know what we...
This brother is fire. He reminds me of Scarface. Let me run that back. He reminds me of Scarface. He's dope.
All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Don't what people say, we know the truth. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Enough is enough of this garbage.
Listen to my war cry. I'm gifted. I done seen bullets soar by with my own eyes. I'm angelical. I am not of this world, nigga. That's what I'm telling you. My ears are my eyes are my ears. I see what you saying. I hear what you feel. But you ain't talking about too much. That badge and that gun in your hand got you acting too tough. You crazy? Real soon niggas gon' bust back. Don't play with me. At the round table, we don't discuss that. We must protect us at all costs. If it means acting like Nat Turner, cutting the master head off, let's do it. Freedom ain't free and peace ain't either. And if you married that woman, don't cheat on her or beat her. Gotta protect the queens. Let them know that we gon' love them. That's by any means. Treat every man like your brother, only if he for the cause though. Cause most of these niggas still living lost though. Miserable lost souls. As the Lord weeps when an angel die. Gangsta Paradise, the soundtrack of dangerous minds. I got a dangerous mind, yeah. When I aim at swine, turn them pigs to bacon bits. when I'm banging mine? Why should I turn the other cheek when you hit me first? And why should I pray for you when you trying to get me murked? It's mind elevation. I walk with both eyes closed, but my third eye's open, nigga. That's how I know to peep all this foolishness. Before I sell my soul for a steak, I'll forever eat tuna fish. Let us bow our head and say a prayer. Heavenly Father, are you listening? Are you there? Do you care about them crackers shooting niggas down? And if you do, let us know what we should do now. War cry, protect the women and the children. Bloody revolution. If you told it, you better pull it on. Only a foolish man will believe in this racist system. It's time to fight back. Ain't no more time to play the victim. All Muslims, all Christian, all Jehovah's Witness, all 5%ers. If you black, you still a nigga. Take the veil from off your eyes. I peeped the false statements, allegations, and other words. I saw them lies. Everybody got eyes, but everybody not gonna see. Everybody won't change, but don't nobody wanna bleed. War cry when it's on its own. Two straps, one black and chrome. It's a new world order, and I gotta protect my own. Gotta protect my home, searching my house without a warning. I spit one at your dome. I'm a man first, you gon' respect that. Violate my human rights, you getting left where you stand at. They're attacking and abusing me. And if you black, keep your black dollars in the black community. No longer will we suffer punishment. Middle finger to the Constitution, let's build our own government. War cry. Listen to my war cry. Listen to my war cry. Listen to my war cry.
I can hear that a little bit, T. Wriggles, but I'm hearing more of a Scarface thing as far as the lyrical content and how the cadence giving me Scarface.
Bloody war cry, my bloody war cry. It's time to fight back. The revolution is now. They kill us, and they film themselves killing us. It's time that we reprogram our minds.
And that's a big fact, Keith Wallace. They film themselves killing us.
Time to decode our minds. And we reach one, teach one. Pause.
Back to the program. Go to a Minnesota trooper charged in the Ricky Cobb shooting.
Our top story tonight, a State Patrol trooper has been charged with second-degree murder for this highway shooting that left Ricky Cobb II dead. That incident on I-94 happened this past summer on July 31st.
The troopers had pulled Cobb over and demanded he get out of the vehicle at the time. He refused and was shot as he began to drive away. Our Paul Bloom joining us live now to break down the new charges and the reaction tonight. Paul?
Kelsey, Amy, nearly 6 months after this deadly traffic stop encounter here at the courthouse on Wednesday, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office filing multiple charges against the trooper who fired his weapon, Ryan Longigan. Included in those charges, second-degree unintentional murder. A conviction on that count alone could typically send a defendant to prison for between 10 and 15 years. But it is clear tonight Longigan and his legal team are not going down without a fight.
He is charged with second-degree murder, unintentional, first-degree assault, and second-degree manslaughter.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty here outlining the charges her office filed Wednesday against Minnesota State Trooper Ryan Longigan. That is
Now, I can't understand how they can use the word unintentional. If you shoot somebody with a 9mm, or in most case scenario today, a 40 caliber handgun, your intentions is to kill, unless you shoot somebody in the leg. If you hit them in any vital area, you can kill them. So this unintentional thing, I'm not understanding.
Longigan is shouting at Ricky Cobb II while assisting with a traffic stop along I-94 north of downtown early on the morning of July 31st. Cobb was initially pulled over for driving without rear lights when troopers discovered the 33-year-old was wanted for violating an order for protection. Cobb did not comply with directions to step out of his Ford Fusion. Longigan and a fellow trooper then seen and heard on body camera footage, barking commands and attempting to physically remove Cobb from the vehicle. Get out of the car now! Longigan, a newer trooper at the time with only about 18 months on the job, fired twice as Cobb took his foot off the brake and appeared to attempt to drive away. Moriarty, whose office did not employ an unaffiliated use of force expert, as it had said it would in making a charging decision, concluded the case came down to training.
They are not allowed to shoot at a car which is driving away. They're not allowed to shoot someone to prevent the car from driving away.
This county attorney has provided sweetheart deals to murderers and kidnappers, and now today she charges a hero.
Trooper Longigan's legal team quickly responded, filing a motion to dismiss the case immediately. They argue the use of deadly force was justified to protect Longigan and his colleague from the threat of death.
They love calling these cowards heroes. They love calling cowards heroes. Police barely do acts of heroism. A hero is somebody who see a house or a building on fire and they go inside that building and bring people out, risking their own lives to bring people out of fire. That's a hero, not some punk shooting at a vehicle going the other damn way.
For great bodily harm, specifically the potential the troopers could have been dragged on the freeway, according to Imran Ali, general counsel for the Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association.
Look, this is a dynamic situation that unfolded on a highway where there is a risk to other people, including the troopers.
You see a good traffic stop.
I see a good traffic stop.
Meantime, as you can see in this video here, Ricky Cobb's loved ones were here at the courthouse on Wednesday, meeting with prosecutors. They ended up leaving without speaking to the gathered media and saying anything on camera. We do expect to hear from them right back here tomorrow morning around 11 o'clock. As for Trooper Longigan, he does remain on paid administrative leave with the State Patrol. He will be due here for his first court appearance Monday afternoon. Mary Moriarty saying today her office will not seek bail in this case as it moves along. Reporting from the Hennepin County Government Center, Paul Bloom, Fox 9.
All right, thanks, Paul.
And now we have a former New York City Police Department sergeant charged with manslaughter.
The NYPD sergeant who threw a cooler at a suspect on a motorbike, allegedly causing him to crash and die, has now been arraigned.
Briella Tomasetti, she's live outside the 44th precinct in the Bronx with more. Good morning, Briella.
Yeah, Tashani and Dan, good morning to both of you. NYPD Sergeant Eric Duran was indicted. He stood before a judge, I should say, while his indictment was unsealed, and emotions were understandably high on both sides of the aisle, especially after Duran was released on a $150,000 bond. He is due back in court on April 18th, and he could spend up to 25 years in prison if he's convicted. Tensions flared outside the Bronx criminal courthouse as NYPD Sergeant Eric Duran was inside being arraigned on manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, and assault charges. Anti-police protesters stood near the courtroom doors, surrounded by a sea of officers who were there to keep the peace and support their brother in blue. 30-year-old Eric Dupree was killed on August 23rd after being knocked off his motorcycle during a buy and bust operation. According to the NYPD, Duran was working undercover when he bought drugs from Dupree on Aqueduct Avenue in Kingsbridge Heights. Dupree got on his bike and took off before police were able to make an arrest. This surveillance video shows the moment Duran hurled a cooler at Dupree's head, causing him to lose control of the bike, hit a parked car, and fall to the ground. Dupree leaves behind a wife and 3 young children. The state attorney general's office is handling his case.
The defendant knew or should have known
that throwing the cooler at Mr. Dupree would either harm him or distract him and ultimately cause a collision. The defendant was aware of these risks and disregarded them.
Immediately after Dupree's death, Duran was suspended from the NYPD without pay and later put on modified duty. His defense attorney argued that Dupree was responsible for his own death and said his client threw the cooler to prevent kids playing nearby from being hit by the speeding motorcycle.
Used the only object he had available to him to try to stop, and that was a cooler. We don't dispute these facts, Judge. It's a matter of whether or not Sergeant Duran was justified in his actions. Unequivocally.
So this wicked demon, that's why I always say defense attorney who defend cops or scum. Below scum. He's going to stand here and justify a cop throwing a wine cooler bottle at somebody, hitting them in the head, making them crash on his motorcycle and kill himself. He's going to stand here and justify that. He's below scum.
The Sergeants Benevolent Association is also standing behind Duran. Prosecutors, in the meantime, though, believe he had the duty to serve and protect and to preserve human life, a duty he did not fulfill. For now, we're live here outside the 44th Precinct. Dana Tashani, back to you.
Priyo, thank you very much. That's the debate right there.
Now, this next video is not shocking, but I just want to show just how corrupt to the core this system is and why we should totally divorce this system and get out this system and don't participate in this system. Don't have any type of confidence in this system. It's not for us, it's not ours, and it doesn't give us justice, but they expect us to participate in their jurisprudence.
Dismissing you as a juror in this case. I'm going up.
Check out what they do to this young sister.
Find that you're an indirect criminal contempt, instruct the state of Florida to file charges against you.
It was a heartbreaking blow to a family waiting more than 12 years for closure, a mistrial in the sentencing of their son's killer. A convicted killer whose resentencing ended with that mistrial gets another chance now to avoid the death penalty this week. The jury selection in what will now be the third sentencing for Bestman Okafor is set for Tuesday. He's accused of killing Alex Zaldivar in 2012, was sentenced to death right after, but then it didn't stick. News 6's Brian Didlik is here tonight digging into this. Brian, you have been following this for years. How did this happen?
Well, Eric, this case has been riddled with mishaps. Tuesday's jury selection will now make this the third time the court has tried to sentence.
Why is this dude sounding like this? It is really disturbing my spirit, the way this dude's voice is.
Bestman Okafor. Like you said, Okafor was originally sentenced to death back in 2015. That sentencing delayed for years after the Florida Supreme Court went back and forth on requirements for the death penalty. The courts got back on track for Okafor's sentencing, but got halted back in November, all because of one juror who told the court she discussed the proceedings with a friend, but it turns out Kayla DePena caused the mistrial on purpose. A Tuesday jury selection is set to begin for the Bestman Okafor sentencing. Okafor was sentenced to death after being convicted for killing 19-year-old Alex Zaldivar, who was set to testify against him back in 2015.
You solemnly swear or affirm.
Why is this reporter trying to sound so safe? It's like, you know, moisture in the air when I hear him talk. Where's the base? Did he inhale some helium before he arrived at work to do this report?
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Kayla DePena saw a judge earlier this month. She's charged with direct criminal contempt after causing a mistrial back in November in Okafor's third sentencing trial back in November of last year. At that time, she told the judge she talked about the case with a friend.
No juror has the right to violate the rules that we all live by.
But during her hearing earlier this month, she told that same judge she lied about talking to anyone because she no longer wanted to fulfill her obligations.
She did not want to be on this in particular jury. She did mention that her work does not provide compensation for jury duty.
Jurors testified against DePena.
They expect this young lady to come be a juror. She has a job. She'd rather work. They don't pay you for being a juror. They don't pay you for sitting there doing deposition and doing deliberation. They don't pay you. They probably provide you with some meals, some fast food, but they don't pay you. This young sister would rather go to work where she can make her money to take care of herself. I don't know if she have children or not, but she don't want to be a juror. So why didn't they just dismiss her when she came to them and said that she didn't want to be a juror? Why would they force her to do it? They call it your civic duty. But if you are like myself, don't believe in their jurisprudence, why would you force someone to be a juror?
Saying she stated multiple times her frustrations with being a juror. One juror mentioned she verbalized her intent to cause a mistrial the night before Okafor's sentencing trial was supposed to end.
She was upset. She said that she needed to be at work that night. We were called back in the room and the judge told us we were going to be sequestered for the night, explained the rules, and then we went back into the deliberation room and she asked to speak to the judge. And before she walked out, she said she was about to make that a mistrial.
DePena, in her defense,
There was no intention of causing any harm, and there was no ill will from my end. I was truly overwhelmed and did not know how to handle this situation.
And now that judge went on to sentence DePena to 179 days in jail, the max time for her offense. Eric?
You know, Brian, I have talked to Alex Zaldivar's father, Raphael, so many times over the past 12 years. He is so deeply committed to.
So that now they make a criminal out of her, give her a jail record because she don't want to be a juror, and they try to make a criminal out of her.
Getting justice. He's so passionate and so frustrated that this has dragged on now for so long.
Yeah, that is correct. Oh, well, after this latest trial, the family says that they are disappointed and just want this case to move forward. Here's what they said at the last time that we spoke with them.
She's putting her family through this again.
Now I just can't do this dude's voice no further. It disturbs my spirit the way he sounds. Big, gigantic brother standing up there sounding like, sounding very RuPaulish, put it that way. I can't deal with that. I can't listen to that no further. Disturbs my spirit. This is going to conclude this episode of Corrupt to the Core. So far, this is part 11. The saga continues. They forever will give us some type of content to present to the people of just how corrupt people who want to be revered and seen as heroes. I'm not going to say that there's no police officers that's a hero or that just go out and do their job and who are out on the job to merely serve the people. But if you are out there, you need to jump your ass up and down and make yourself sing because we can't see you. We can't see you. Before I go, I want to thank everyone who has tapped in. I want to thank my brother T. Wriggles. I want to thank my brother Equator 7. I want to thank Renegade. I want to thank my brother Big Dog Philly OG. I want to thank Bronze Flat Power God. Thank you for tapping in, good brother. Thank you for tapping in, Warfare K. Thank you for tapping in, my brother Talk Your Talk Media, my brother Greedy Vegan. Thank you for tapping in. The brother Open to Knowledge, thanks for tapping in. I appreciate that. I appreciate all who has tapped in. If I didn't mention you, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my memory. Yeah, my wife's book, Fire, for a good read. I put the link in the chat. I put the link in the chat for a good read. Purchase my wife's book called Fire. Get your copy of Fire on paperback or Kindle. The link is in the chat. You can get it on Amazon on paperback or Kindle. For a very good read. You will not be disappointed if you purchase the book Fire. Very good book. I read it. I'm not into novels, but I read it and I enjoyed it. So get your copy of Fire on paperback or Kindle. I'm going to play the trailer for the book.
The once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise.
This is your brother Nasir on The Enemy's Public. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This is the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.